or exiting the tent. Does seem to drop down. The angle of the inner does drop down pretty steeply. So when you're laying here, for example, if I had a pillow down here, just laying my head flat, slipping up this end, my toes are touching the end there, not touching the actual end of the bucket floor, but touching the no-seam mesh, and my forehead at this end is touching up here. So, you know, put a pillow under that raised you up again, you're pretty much going to have your face in the mesh, and your feet, most definitely. Width-wise, if I put my elbows out, hang on, so we've got the view there. If I put my elbows out there, they make contact on either side. So I've got about, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 centimetres either side of me. So this, even though this is intended for me and the dog, I think we're still going to be pretty tight in here, so probably going to leave them outside. Bucket floor, not too bad. You can see around the corners, comes up a few inches, let's say 3 to 4 inches before the mesh starts. But one thing I've just noticed is, depending how we're going to set this up here, there's no real, I guess, edge here. There's no real edge here as far as the bucket floor being turned up. So what you might actually end up with is that laying out a little bit, and if you're getting water run through, you might take some of that into the inner. Seems to curl up okay, but depends how you're laying there. You can see that's going to, put your foot out, whatever, that's going to lay down flat, and you might actually take on water. What have we got up here? Okay, we've got a pocket up here. Not sure if you can see that, very, very small pocket. You're not going to be putting a lot in there. There's actually a tab in there, some instructions. I don't know what's on cleaning or whatever it is, I'm not sure. So there's a small pocket there, but other than that, it's pretty much featureless. Okay, and as you can see over that corner there, it's already let go. So we're going to have to figure out how to stake the corners of the inner out and what they're meant to attach to. Okay, so other than that, first impressions, quite impressed with the room. The layout's not too bad, reasonable ventilation. That is open, there's no mesh in that, so any flies are just going to come straight in. Bit disappointed, I thought there would be. I know that there's open under the sides and the flies are going to get in anyway, but I am a little bit disappointed to see that that's actually not sealed a little bit. That's almost an open invitation on both sides to let the flies in, so that's a little bit disappointing. Other than the challenge of trying to figure out how to set up the inner. It does come with 2 additional stakes, so perhaps they're intended for use inside. At the end of the day, there's 4 stake down points, so you could just get an additional couple of pegs and stake it out that way. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. And obviously plenty of room in here for packs, plenty of room for cooking, plenty of room for the dog, plenty of room for heaps of other stuff. You could probably, without any issue, under emergency circumstances or whatever, probably fit 3 people in here without this inner, and you could probably do it reasonably comfortable, providing they left all their gear outside. Okay, back again on the outside. We've got it set up. There's your inner in there, just to give you an idea what it looks like with both doors open. Hopefully you can see that, plenty of room. There's that door opened up again. I've got to say that I'm surprised that those larger side doors don't open up. It's actually that smaller section. For the sake of an extra stake down point, an extra bit of material on that smaller section, and a couple of tabs on this side, that would have happened. It would have been functional, and you would have had the choice. And I've got to say, there's a minimum of tie down points. I'm not sure how this is going to go in rough weather. You can see that there's only 2 points which is on the stakes, which makes sense. There we go. There's a guy point there. You do have some additional cordage here, which, you know, whether you're going to apply that or stake that down as well. It's pretty much, you know, 3 stake down points per side, but a distinct lack of guy lines. Undecided whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Perhaps the design just doesn't need it. It's effective in that sort of wind, but you know, this could be my pitching skills, but like I said, I've had a bit of difficulty getting some tension into these sides. Obviously that will come with practice and time. Perhaps somebody who's got the tent can jump in and give me some pointers, but it looks like it's the wind's going to get under those sides and almost turn it into a kite, so we'll have to see how that goes once we get some stiff winds and see what happens. But at this point, you know, happy with the weight, most definitely. It's about, what did I say, it's around about 1.4, 1.39, so that's 500 grams lighter than the Australia Speedlight, I think it was, Speedlight 2, the other one that I've got there. So that's a considerable weight saving right there. And I've actually come out better with a bit more room, plenty of room for cooking, etc. in there. Although at this point I think I'm going to have to say, if I was caught in some pretty horrible weather, I think that the Austrail is going to be the better tent to be stuck in. Granted, you're not going to get the ability to cook in. We're just talking about the ability to stay dry and stay out of the weather whilst the weather's occurring, and then you're able to come out and cook and do whatever you need. Now, I just think that other tents, obviously it's a different design, so keep that in mind. I think it would handle the weather a lot better. It's a lot lower profile, it's closer to the ground, a lot more stakeout points, and I think it would handle strong weather, providing it was pitched in the correct manner. It would handle the weather a lot better than this. But look, at this point, I've had this now for about half an hour. You've seen me stake it. This would be a really rapid sort of pitch type tent if the weather come in really quick, and then you can get in and pitch your inner. But I have figured a technique with the Austrail where I can do the same. I just don't have the ability or the room to take in a rucksack, a backpack, whatever you want to do, and take, you know, and do cooking or whatever if it's long-term weather and you're stuck inside the tent. This definitely gives you a lot more room to sit up. Not necessarily more room to sleep in, but definitely more room to you know, to do your other things. Not real sure what this is about either. Again, perhaps somebody can give me a pointer on what that's intended to be used for. Obviously if that was inside, that would have been used for a light or something like that, but yeah, not sure, real sure. Perhaps you can attach another guy point or something to that and pull this into the wind or away from the wind, perhaps, to give it some sort of a slant, have the wind come across the top. Who really knows at this point? So again, one pole design, 2-door entry, 1 person, 3 season. At a pinch you could get 2 or possibly 3 in there. Reasonable ventilation, albeit that not sealed off. Material, finish, all seems to be okay. Don't see any. All the stitching looks to be really good, actually. I'm really quite impressed with that. The stitching and the finish of the material all seems to be really good. All the materials, the nylons, the cords, the stakes, the tie-off points, all seem to be really well done, really well finished. The stitching seems to be good. The poles, I must make a mention that the pole, the single pole, is a really nice finish. As you can see there, it's a really nice polished finish. It's a lovely fit. It's slotted in really, really well. I'm really impressed with that pole. I know that it's a really simple thing, but just the finish on it, the fit, quite exceptional. Now, what did I pay for this? I think I paid around about the 140, 150 mark for this. I had seen it a lot more expensive, but like I said, it come from Hong Kong, I believe it was, and that was the cheapest retailer that I'd seen. So there we go. The Luxe outdoor speed up tent, rapid pitch, And there's your dimensions there. It's not exactly a square design, so that's why your measurements are slightly off. There we go. Any questions? Let me know.